This
flashes
I'm talking about is, of course, the strange scene where Jax is running through a dark hall and stops in front of a door.
Yeah, ribbit. Motherfucker died. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back with another banger. Cause y'all heard me, bro. I said I'm back with another banger. A reaction for y'all boys, man. Hey, man. Say, man, we got something a little bit different, which I'm surprised no one has done yet. I've looked on YouTube a bit, looked it up, see if anyone has done it, but surprisingly, no. But y'all are loving the Major Digital Circus reactions. I'm peeping on the statistics. Y'all are liking them a bit more. I'm like, hey, why not keep the snowball, rolling downhill? So today, I decided I'm going to react to a bunch of, well, not a bunch, but a theory, right? Jax abstracted his best friend, the craziest digital circus reveal yet. This is done by Cartoon Universe, and fellas, I'm excited. Now, if you know, I don't like the fucker. I hate Jax. He annoys the shit out of me so bad, bro. Like, dog. And I can right here y'all in the comments, gang. Hoodie dude, why do you hate Jax? Why do you hate Jax? Bro, I just hate him. I hate, you know what I despise? Like, genuinely, I dislike people who have trauma, but utilize that trauma as, like, an excuse to be a dickhead to other people. You feel me? Like, what the fuck did I do? My fault that your fucking best friend abstracted, but why you gotta be a dickhead to me about it, Cuddy? It ain't my fault your friend's a bitch. It ain't my fault your friend abstracted and went crazy because you couldn't help him, be still. I don't give a fuck. I'm being a dickhead. Well, I ain't gonna hold you, Cuddy. And motherfuckers go like, I'm the type of motherfucker that once someone goes deep, I'll go deeper. I'll go straight to the pits of hell to be that petty. Like, dead ass. Fuck that shit. Jax is not broken. He's grieving. No, he's a bitch. Shout out to Nari, gang. Oh, I love Nari's video. Shout out to Nari. But anyways, I'm excited. All right, again, this is done by Cartoon Universe, and we're going to learn more about the Major Digital Circus and theories. And I'm going to come into this bitch with an open mind. Like I don't know, why has an open mind, dude? Like a kid with a head injury or some shit? I don't know where I was going with that analogy, but whatever. Lock in, yo!
Episode 5 of The Amazing Digital Circus was probably the biggest backstory drop we've had so far, and while there were many hints that this was meant to be a Ragatha episode, and we did get some confirmations and new insights.
Thank you for the follow. Peep the Twitch. No, shut the fuck up.
To her character, you just know I have to talk about Jax first and the crazy little tidbits we got from his story. Particularly the idea that Jax actually had a friend inside the digital circus who—
I've heard someone said that it was Kaufmo. Hoodie dude, can you let the video play? We need a professional to analyze it. Shut the fuck up, pussy. Go analyze these nuts, ho. I'm gonna say what the fuck I want. Like, well, what if it was Kaufmo? Oh no, it was this frog schmuck? He looks so sweet. Watch him be like a massive racist. Could he drop slurs like a goddamn, I don't know, bro. Like how Stephon Diggs drops the fucking balls in the playoffs, but whatever. I'm never letting that shit go on and go fuck.
who many fans believe is this frog here, who Gooseworks apparently named Ribbit. Now,
oh, what a name.
Episode 5 opened not that different from Episode 4, with the gang opting for an adventure from the suggestion box instead of one of Kane's torture experiments presented as a video game. This led to an episode where the gang does a bunch of different adventures in a row, speedrunning some fun ideas instead of stretching each out over its own episode. This was actually a little bit disappointing for me, not because any of these sucked. In fact, they were—
This overfarming ass Pokemon ass cat, bro. I don't think I'll be noticing you, cause we see the jawline, gang. We don't get no fucks. Now my man be chilling though. Same with this guy. Look at my guy chilling. POV, me working on videos. But bro, look at this overfarming ass cat, bro. You think you're the main character, bro? Thinks he's in the edit, gang. Get the fuck out of here, Cuddy.
Were all really great. So the real issue I had is that any one of these would have also made a great episode on their own. To be honest, the themed adventures so far haven't been that fun for me, so having all the good ones pushed into this one episode is a bit concerning, but part of what made each of these so good was how they were all able to show different sides of the same issue going on in this one episode, so that may be where a lot of this came from. There's a lot to talk about in the next few videos, but for this one, the most important thing we learned through all these adventures was about Jax.
Sadly.
Jax, of course, has been stuffing the suggestion box with terrible ideas, hoping to be able to use them against the other circus members. Such as their first adventure, which is a safari game where everyone else is an animal and Jax gets to be the poacher. This, as the first adventure, really sets up what Jax is all about, and honestly, I think it might even hint at the ideas that I'm going to present later in this video that Jax is ultimately responsible for his best friend abstracting.
Probably fucking Lee. Look, here's my thing though. Like, isn't that weird? Like, you have a suggestion box, limitless possibilities. I ain't gonna lie. I would have some banger suggestions theoretically. Watch fucking watch the Amazing Digital Circus be fucking real. Kane just comes out of my fucking Xbox while I'm playing Marvel Rivals going fucking 2-19 with Spider-Man. Hey, I got some good ideas. Could he join me? And I fucking wake up in a goddamn, dude, in hell, essentially. In fucking circus hell, right? Like a fucking elephant. I'm just a fucking plaything, whatever. But, bro, I would suggest an NBA game. Let me be LeBron James, bro. Let me be D Rose. How does it feel like to be able to jump and touch the fucking rim? I would go crazy. Hey! Huss! Dunk. I would go insane, bro. Or what else? Be Superman or some shit. Well, what the fuck? Let me be, and the suggestion box, let me be in the tournament of power, bro, and let me win. I don't go fuck. Let me be Simone Gay. Like, I would go crazy. And then I would go insane after, like, you know, constantly being in that bitch for eternity. But at the same time, could you not have a suggestion to where you can live out your entire life how it normally would be? Theoretically? And just have you constantly living out these separate fake lives. And maybe at that point you will never realize if it's fake or not. And then be Iron Man.
The premise of Jax's character really is that he likes to exploit things to make life worse for everyone else, and it gives him some serious laughs when others are suffering because of it. His primary victim right now is Gangle, with everyone else just tolerating Jax and his evil behavior until he goes too far with her. The big twist for this episode, at least with the Jax subplot, was
that she's a gooner, Gangle.
The way the gang found to turn his behavior back on him. For this series of adventures, Kane had made a voting system that let the characters decide what they do not like, but they were also able to use this function to force changes onto everyone else. Jax tried to use this against the others as well, but
no one gave a fuck.
Nothing he proposed would get voted for by the others because, of course, no one really likes the way he treats them. Meanwhile, when Zubul proposes that Jax becomes forcibly vegan, everyone agrees. This was funny but really inconsequential as they don't really eat food in the digital circus and it's all just pixels. But it was a joke being turned onto Jax, and that was what really mattered here. This escalated with the gang voting to put Jax in a maid's outfit, something I remember seeing crazy artwork for on the internet long before this episode, which
I hate gooners so much. Well, you know, not too much on. Shut the fuck up, buddy. You and Jax can both rot in fucking hell. Y'all seen Toy Story 3? The one with the Laszlo bear? That I was out 3 or 4. I don't remember. And they're about to get sent to the incinerator. That's where y'all should go up. Gooners and Jax just end up in there. Are you joking? No.
Seems so bizarre back then, but here we are. Jax, of course, is extremely embarrassed by this, as I would be too if I was caught in my maid uniform. And
I ain't gonna rock that shit. What the fuck? What the fuck you think this is? What you trying to say, Hoodie Dude? Well, you weird motherfucker. Now you just insecure like a bitch. I'll go crazy, gang. Well, obviously not like that. I wouldn't be like a stripper, like a Magic Mike, some shit. But like, hey, I'll drip that maid outfit out like a motherfucker. I'll go crazy. All right, I can put on a good fit. Listen, I'm not a fashion type of motherfucker. I'm not. I hate fashion influencers. I really despise them. Hoodie Dude, what don't you hate? My mom and my family. Hoodie, fuck you, got me cheesing and shit. But anyways, bro. I would go, like, I'm not insecure. I would go crazy because I put the maid outfit on. I wear my Jordans. I go insane. I put on a fucking like a bandana, black and white bandana. Hold on, I'm not wearing no shorty shorts though. I'm not doing that shit. All right, I'll put on some joggers, but then I go crazy.
And the moment of his evil clone commenting on how he looks is absolutely unhinged. All of this, of course, got Jax worked up so much that I actually thought there might be an issue with him in this episode.
Famous
Marvel!
Around the world, Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and the Thing.
It's collaborate time! I needed to say that, bro.
Jax threatened to kill people more times in this episode than I remember ever happening before.
Fucking edgelord. What did I say?
And with the whole theme of the episode being about Jax having his own logic turned against him, I think it showed what Jax's real issue is. Jax in this episode kind of revealed that he has control issues, not just issues controlling himself, but also the need to feel in control of others. This is something that's really been present throughout the entire series, but here, when his own logic is turned against him, we can really see just how much it bugs him.
Yeah, he's a bitch. He's a fucking loser. So he's a controlling, narcissistic freak who enjoys tormenting others because he's traumatized. Like, how do you like him? I heard some people like him because they said his voice, they liked his voice. fucking gooners. I don't give a fuck.
The digital circus, and also in real life, these jokes are one way to control other people. It's not like school where you have to be intelligent enough to apply yourself, or some sort of workout routine where you have to exercise and be good at that. Yeah. It's something you can use against just about anyone to knock them off their pedestal and bring them down to your level, to a place where they're not willing to fight back, and thus you're the one in control of them.
Like, dude, like, listen to my man, Cartoon Universe. It's his description. I want to make sure I get the name right. His description of this motherfucker Jax, bruh. Listen, like, doesn't that sound corny and lame? That shit lame as fuck, bruh. Man, let me be in that bitch. I ain't gonna, hey, let me be in. It's like Love Island. Let me be a bombshell.
It's not just that Jax has the willingness to be mean, however, which he accomplishes by simply pushing Gangle over in the pilot and other simple acts of abuse like that. What gives Jax the upper hand here is that he's naturally conniving, looking for ways to exploit the rules instead of following them. This is something required to move beyond just physical bullying, with mental manipulation and these sort of digital pranks at everyone else's expense being ways to do that. In episode 2, at the Candy Kingdom for instance, Jax could have just used his own body to stretch across to the other criminal car besides theirs, but he chose to use Pomni instead and then casually walked all over her. This was a brilliant way to show the audience how Jax sees himself, as someone who doesn't have to put up with the things that everyone else does, because he can find a hack that uses everyone else to his own advantage.
So a cheating bitch.
It's because of this that Jax is likely convinced himself that he's smarter than everyone else, even if only in the ways that matter to him. The problem, however, is that this behavior doesn't work everywhere. In a system like school, you basically have to look out for yourself, but when it comes to a place of official employment, there's only so much you can do to another person before you're going to be terminated and asked to leave. It's easy to imagine Jax doing what he's done to Gangle at some sort of school growing up, but this is precisely the reason why in episode 4...
He hates fucking jobs. Like, he hates getting a job. That's y'all. He hates being employed. Job? Who did you slur? Whoa, shut up, bro. Job! Get a job! My YouTube channels get taken down for saying the slur, the J slur.
Gangle has everyone
J slat.
going to the fast food place where she gets to be the manager. Here, even in the digital circus, even with Jax, no one is able to contradict her authority. This is played mostly for laughs in the show, but in real life as an ongoing job, this would be extremely difficult for Jax to maintain, not being able to exploit the rules because there's a real authority who is keeping track of him, such as the manager Gangle. And to me, that's where this whole Jax story really starts to get insane. While the other characters gave their backstories in this episode, Jax only gave lies.
Bullshit,
Zooble noticing that Jax's backstory he started spewing was a reference to some existing story in a movie or TV show, though I actually don't know what it is for the record.
Wait, really? Wait, Breaking Bad? What the fuck? Uncultured? No, I'm just playing. It's Breaking Bad.
I suck at that sort of thing. Regardless, the only information we got for Jax came not from one of these narrated backstories like the others gave, but from little hints from the other characters like Ragatha and brief flashes of Jax that allude to his history. This
flashes?
I'm talking about is, of course, the strange scene where Jax is running through a dark hall and stops in front of a door.
Yeah, Ribbit. Motherfucker died. Like, I'm just what if Ribbit was probably the nicest guy, was the only one to put up with Jax's bullshit, right? And then due to that, Jax did something that broke Ribbit. I don't know. He said he went too far and I don't know, he deleted Ribbit's My Player, gang. Deleted Ribbit's My Player. And then boom. Ribbit crashed out. He abstracted, could he end up in like the little fucking closet of goo and venom and shit. Now he's fucking terminated, gone, whatever, reduced to a bunch of atoms like fucking, I don't know, like the double pump shotgun in Fortnite. Could he got vaulted. And now he's trying to prove it that it's not my fault. It was Ribbit's fault for being a bitch. So now he's trying to prove it with Gangle. All right, I guess. That's my theory.
These doors are used in the show for the character.
Or prove it by bullying Gangle to her limit. See, like, hey, it's not just me. You got to toughen up, buddy. Or maybe Ribbit was like Gangle and saw the same personality in order to like not abstract her, try to toughen her up.
Rooms that we see in the hallway of the digital circus. Rooms that only human characters like our main cast are supposed to have. The way Jax stops in front of his door clearly indicates that he has a connection to this character, who is a frog in the game, but like Jax as a rabbit, would have been human before the digital circus. And with everyone else...
he had a body or was like literally just a frog, like on the ground type shit?
Giving their stories that hint at how they got into the circus instead of narrating things that happened since entering the circus, I have to think that this image of Jax at the door does the same thing ultimately. With Pomni, she simply explained that she liked exploring abandoned buildings and then posting videos about it on YouTube. When Pomni's talking about this, Jax actually says that this would explain how she ended up in the digital circus, hinting at what we learned from the end of the pilot, which is
broke into an abandoned office, put on a weird VR headset to impress like 2 subscribers, and then she ended up here. That's some shit that would happen to like me or some shit. Like I react to a video that's like cursed, thinking it's like funny as fuck, and I fucking wake up in hell. I wake up in fucking Arkansas.
Is that this video game seems to be running on an old computer in some sort of abandoned office building. This would have been the perfect place for Pomni to explore in her spare time, and when she saw this video game running on an old PC, there was no reason to think it would do anything harmful to her, like locking her in the game. Similar things likely happen to the other characters, but that doesn't mean they all have to have the exact same explanation.
You think Gangle was on a Rule 34 website, clicked on a wrong link, and ended up here? I mean, so like, cause she's a gooner canonically. Maybe she got a wonky headset, cause she was a manager, right? So she wasn't really. I don't know. Managers make bank though, from what I heard. I don't know. For conflicting things. Some managers do, some managers don't. Whatever the case. Maybe she was a manager, or like maybe she got laid off, whatever the case may be, and she wanted to take a break and decided to go to like a Barnes and Noble, not Barnes and Noble, a fucking, I don't know, what's a McKay's, like a McKay's type of shop, right? And then she saw a cool VR headset. All right, dope. Got the VR headset, put it on, and then she ended up here, and she clicked on the wrong website. That'd be funny. That'd be funny as fuck.
Jax in particular is the kind of character who may know a lot about this sort of exploit before entering the game, as he likes finding exploits and issues that he can bend to his advantage. Before even entering the digital circus himself, he may have already been well aware of the malfunction this game had in its hardware, perhaps explaining why the building itself was abandoned. But why would both he and a friend get trapped there, especially if there was only one headset with this particular issue? A similar question could be asked for Kinger and his wife Queenie, and maybe there are multiple headsets plugged in that can be used by these characters. But regardless of that, the theory,
or maybe it's an AoE.
He says that the reason Jax and his friend are both trapped in here isn't because they both accidentally got sucked into the game using different headsets. And instead, I think this was exactly what Jax wanted to happen. When asked which of the digital circus characters most deserved to be trapped there, Gooseworks very clearly said that it was absolutely Jax.
Like, hey, the creator of the show agrees with me. Fuck that fucker.
And if I had to guess, Jax's friend may not even have been his first victim. After learning about what this video game malfunction could do, Jax seems like the kind of person to lure people he hated into the circus. This would allow him to take the people that he just couldn't get the upper hand over in real life into a space where he was basically their god, especially from the outside of the game before he entered it himself. This could have started in his teen years and gone on into adulthood, with him just bringing in different people to this building and telling them that he found this amazing video game they could play just for them to end up trapped and tortured.
Oh, and what the fuck is Ragatha? Like, Kinger and his wife, I also don't understand as well. But that's a cool
However,
cool
I think at some point,
I guess you never know. I guess we'll never know. We got fucking Lipton Fusions here.
New Lipton Fusions, made with real iced tea and lemonade.
I don't give a fuck, bro.
A man who works
what the fuck?
hard, sweats hard.
Old Spot.
They're about to kiss so hard.
I swagger fight sweat.
Skip, gang, damn!
point to Jax, the digital circus might have looked more like fun than the real world. Something
Like
the show
creative
is
mode.
exploring a lot is the seriousness of adulthood and the kinds of careers that people are expected to enter in order to try and take care of themselves in a world that is falling apart. These are soul-draining jobs for very little pay, all seemingly to make people higher up in the chain of command feel better about themselves.
Yeah, shout out Harris Theater. Made me want to kill myself.
In episode 4, we saw that Jax seems to struggle with this about as much as everyone else, including Gangle, who seems to have based her entire view on her life on her time working at one of these fast food joints.
She
It
peaked.
wasn't the happiest time of her life and was often very miserable, but it was a time that defined her in many ways, taking her away from the person that she wanted to be growing up and turning her into something that her parents were proud of and which gave her some sort of validation fix, despite it being a fast food hell.
Wait, her parents are proud of her being like a McDonald's manager? Like, I'm not, no shade to McDonald's managers. No shade at all. I'm me, so that ass. But like, what the fuck? I feel like a manga artist is a respectable fucking title. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not that bad. I feel like it, especially today, like 2025, like, it's not that bad. Not that crazy.
The difference between Gangle and Jax is that Gangle tends to succumb to her environment, whether that means staying on the lowest end of the totem pole because that's the only place she can be, or moving up if she has the chance to be something like a manager. Jax, however, doesn't have what it takes to assimilate in order to be a part of a system, so all he can do is try to manipulate the system so that it gives him what he wants. And when other people's profits are at risk, that's something that you just can't do very easily. So the real difference between Gangle and Jax is that Jax is always looking for a way to exploit and a way to get out, and the digital circus may have been just that for him.
I mean, but at the same time, though, you're just a dumbass. You can't exploit that shit. I ain't gonna lie. I'm never showing my face. I've been exploiting this bitch just jobs for years. I ain't gonna hold you, cause hey, minimum wage and minimum effort. I don't give no fucks. I don't give a fuck. Quiet quitting. Shut the fuck up, old head. Shut up, loser. I don't give no shits. Hey, gang. If there's a will, there's a way. That's all I'm gonna say. Cause I ain't gonna lie. I used to work at Spirit Tom, and like it was like a bowling and arcade type of thing. Yeah, you can ask my friends. You can ask my friend Ryan. I So it's like an arcade type of thing, and we figured out like underneath the basketball hoop, like the basketball machine where like you shoot the hoop, yada yada, shoot the ball, whatever, they roll down. There was like a whole row of like arcade machines, right? But you can go behind them, and underneath the basketball machine was like a wide open space. No one fucking knew about it but except me and Ryan. I took a nap in that. I did, like when I was like 16 or some shit. I took a nap in that motherfucker, bro. Like for like an hour. No one gave a fuck because it was a really shitty, like not shitty, but it was like a really boring job. Nothing really happened. That dog. I'm just saying, hey, not Jackson's just a dumbass. Cause hey, I found a few ways.
The digital circus is kind of the perfect escape for someone who hates the world but loves hanging out online. It's a digital world where
he's canonically online? Jack's a Twitter user, gonna use his fucking Reddit. He's a fucking
everything is meant to be fun, even if there's an obvious exhaustion point where that stops being the case. For someone like Jax, who was a young person just wanting to have fun, entering adulthood and being forced to get a real job, this
so his biggest crime was that he didn't want a job and he was canonically online.
Probably would have been seen as a better alternative. A place where he could be forever young, and with that, forever in a video game where he's treated like a kid.
Ew, dude, that's so sad.
With Jax already knowing so much about the in-world exploits from trapping others in the game, I think he would see it as a paradise to live out the rest of his existence, instead of being an aging human in the fast food industry or some other such job where he had no control. The only thing really holding him back would be
why don't you start your own business?
Loneliness, as up to this point, if this theory is correct, the only other people in there would be the people that he trapped in there against their will. People he already hated on the outside and who he wanted to see suffer. A lot of these people would likely have abstracted by the time that Jax decided that he wanted to enter the game himself. But he still wouldn't want to be alone, and that's where I have to imagine this mysterious frog friend would come in. As terrible as Jax is, especially as a teenager, he likely had at least one friend, and a lot of the episode has characters like Ragatha alluding to this one friend being gone, and him being gone because of the way that Jax behaves. So here's my theory on what I think actually happened.
Hold on, before it gets into it, you son of a bitch, shut the fuck up. What if abstract is not it's not due to your psyche, it's due to your physical body just dying due to old age? Because I'm assuming their bodies are still like out there, right? Their physical bodies are still out there. Maybe they're being taken care of like by doctors or some shit, right? But when their physical body dies and their brain, is brain dead and they're pronounced dead, maybe that's why they abstract. That's a shitty theory, hoodie dude. Shut the fuck up. You have shitty grades, pussy.
After dealing with the expectations of becoming an adult and failing miserably, I think Jax would try to lure a friend into the digital circus by just treating it like a normal video game that he had found and enjoyed. When they entered, they would have a lot of fun at first, but when it was time to leave, they would find themselves trapped, and Jax would simply play like he was shocked, even though he'd seen it happen before with victims of his own even. From here, I think Jax would play things like he does in this episode, insisting that his friend, like the others, takes the game too seriously and should just be trying to have fun. The only reason this is fun for Jax, however, is that he feels in control of it, and his frog friend is not going to have that feeling. Instead, he'd be like everyone else, like Pomni, trying to figure out how the hell they got stuck there and of course trying to get out. Jax would know from seeing others struggle that it's useless and can even lead to you abstracting, but there would be very little he could say to actually comfort his friend and make him enjoy it the way that Jax was. This would have been a choice that Jax made after a long period of time contemplating. Something that even he probably didn't take too lightly. But his friend never had that opportunity or choice, and instead would feel like he was trapped there against his will. At some point, to try and comfort his friend, Jax may even have to admit what he did to him. But
And broke his psyche.
Instead of this making his friend feel better and embrace life in the digital circus as forever young best friends, this would be the emotional push that the frog friend needed in order to abstract himself, turning him into one of the mindless monsters that Kane has no choice but to put in the basement.
Swatting that shit still. Work on the jumper. hey, could he add a step back? Initiate contact, create space.
I see you barking, boy.
I love this.
I got you 3 in a row. Oh.
Weak ass cross.
It works for game. Yes, sir. I see you.
I'm blocking the shit out of that little kid. I'm
There
saying.
are a lot of ways for toddlers to start learning.
The fuck?
The scary part would be that the others seem to know the basics of this story, but not what really happened and how they got there. Zubul made it clear that they knew Jax was lying about his earthly life and the backstory that he tried to spin after all, but Ragatha seemed to know exactly where to dig with Jax when she alluded to him only having a friend once before. This would also really explain why Jax can't take abstraction seriously either. Not that he doesn't get serious-faced when he sees a funeral for Kaufmo, but he can't bring himself to hold a funeral for Kaufmo, as that would be admitting that his friend is dead as well, and that would make Jax his killer. Kane hopes to fix the abstraction.
He is, essentially. Yeah, Jax inherently manslaughter, not even inherently, you fucking knew, this is murder. This is just dead-ass murder. Like, I was gonna say manslaughter, but Jax knew, if this theory is correct, Jax knew that, there's no fucking escape, so they're eventually gonna fucking die there, so it's kind of murder. It was intended. Yeah, it's fucking murder, dude. He's a fucking criminal.
And Jax likely maintains in his head for his own sanity that one day Kane will bring his friend back. But even if Kane is successful, which I don't think he will be, that won't fix the fact that they're all trapped in this video game. Now, this was an absolutely amazing banger of an episode in my opinion, and quite possibly the
Where the fuck the aura farming cat go? He died.
best so far. But that tends to be the case in these indie miniseries epics. Each episode just brings us closer and closer to a dramatic endgame, and thus each episode becomes more intense in different ways as they shake away the humor and reach a place that is just too devastating to actually be funny. Jax tricking a friend into the game and then accidentally getting him abstracted is definitely that kind of devastating place, but this is only the halfway point of the season, and I have to imagine it's only gonna get even more insane. I mentioned earlier how uncomfortable I felt at Jax threatening to kill people so often in this episode, and I honestly was worried that the big dramatic ending would be something like Jax actually getting his revenge and pushing someone else to abstraction. There was even a moment in that maid's uniform where I was worried Jax would be the one to abstract himself, and
I don't give a fuck. Fuck him.
Be honest, maybe that's what they're really setting up here. Until now, I had always
kind of fucking funny. Gangle outlives Jax. I would dead ass on. I want that shit. I ain't gonna lie.
thought that the show would culminate in Jax getting someone else to abstract and seeing the horrors that he wrought upon the digital circus, but it's really starting to look like everyone else is just getting tired of him. Even Ragatha seemed to go for the cold-blooded kill with him, and her apology for it felt like another attempt to make him feel worse.
Yeah, she should have stood on that shit. I ain't gonna hold you. She should have stood on that shit.
Even if she was actually kind of sorry. This episode explored the idea that Ragatha's mother set high expectations for her that had her behaving more politely than the other characters in the show. When she does get frustrated, she's treated like this is wrong and out of character for her, and her apology did seem like a way of acknowledging that she'd done bad. But in doing so, she also reminded Jax that he had done bad too, and that what she feels guilty about is insanely innocent compared to what Jax feels guilty about, which is essentially murder.
Yeah, no, it's fucking murder.
And with all that in mind, it feels like the episodes to come will just have Jax getting worse and worse until he finally reaches his own breaking point. Learning perhaps what he had been doing to other people, but perhaps this time the others will be able to save him. I'd really like to see the others like Gangle rise and push back on Jax in more interesting ways in the episodes that come, before Jax finally realizes that he's not in control at all, and that really he's put himself into one of the most limiting prisons of all time, convincing himself that he's its master or its god simply because he holds all of the keys. And of course, along the way, I think this story has to tie in with what's happening to Kane, the other control freak who is starting to glitch, and even let an NPC wander into the circus at the end of this episode. But for more on that, be sure to subscribe here as well as over on our TikTok if you—
Alright, let's go wrap it up. Fellas, I'm liking this shit. I'm liking this. Alright, I don't know. I wanted to do something new. Alright. Do you think this theory is correct? Oh no. Hoodie dude, this theory is completely outrageous and fucking bogus. Fuck you, fuck cartoons. It just goes off. But fellas, that's grabbing today's video, bro. If you liked the video, like the video. If you didn't like the video, what do you want me to do? Go fuck yourself. But fellas, bye.